Ancient Times, an intro for kids from Sanger Academy. With the Iron Age came what we now call ancient times. This included ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and ancient Rome, among others. Egypt was the first to rise along the mighty Nile River. The Egyptians used pictures to write with called hieroglyphics, and they made art. The rulers of Egypt were called pharaohs, who built enormous pyramids and other tombs where they put their family members after they died. These became mummies surrounded by treasures. In the 5th century BC, that means 500 years before Jesus Christ was born, there were many powerful towns called city-states around the Aegean Sea. They spoke the Greek language. They were the Greeks. Athens was the greatest of these city-states. In Athens, 3 great thinkers taught: Socrates, who taught Plato, who taught Aristotle. Herodotus and Thucydides were the first great men to write down history, or what happened in Greece. Euclid taught the world geometry, or all about shapes. The Greeks made beautiful statues and painted figures on pots like this. The Greeks had powerful warriors called hoplites. And Alexander the Great was a young king who used hoplites to take over a large part of the world known then. The Greeks believed in many gods, like Zeus, the king of the gods, and Athena, the goddess of wisdom, or being wise. The city-state Athens worshipped Athena especially. The city is named after her. So they built a famous temple to Athena called the Parthenon. You can still see the Parthenon today in Athens. You can see many other ancient temples all around Greece today. The Greeks loved the poetry of Homer, who wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. After a few hundred years, another city became powerful: Rome. Roman soldiers made up an army, and the Roman army was powerful. The army of Rome came into Greece and told the Greeks what to do. The Romans were invaders. The Romans invaded many lands: southern and western Europe, and Egypt and Carthage in North Africa. Then Rome was a huge, rich, and famous city. It was where the Roman Senate ruled, and where the most famous Roman, Julius Caesar, became army general and consul, ruler of all Roman lands, and the first Roman emperor. Cicero was a famous thinker. He gave many speeches at the Senate. After 27 BC, Roman leaders could do whatever they wanted. They were called emperors. The next Roman emperor, some call him the first, was Augustus. Later there was a very bad emperor named Nero. People say Nero fiddled while Rome burned or was on fire. Later, a good emperor, who was also a thinker, was Marcus Aurelius. At first, Romans had many of their own gods, like Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Venus, the goddess of love. But in AD 312, Emperor Constantine the Great became a Christian. Soon, the whole Roman Empire was Christian. North of the Roman Empire, there were people called barbarians, that the Romans called barbarians, who were not advanced. They did not write or have high art. They fought a lot. A few hundred years after Constantine, barbarians invaded. And we say that Rome fell in AD 476. That means the Roman emperors no longer ruled Rome. This is Alaric, king of the Visigoths. And all those Roman lands were split up. They were no longer under one government. But the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, did go on. The end.